everybody, it's Mrs. Ulickney here, helping you with page, let me see the number, 63 for your at-home learning. I did want to give you a little heads up. This is counting on to subtract, which can be a little tricky. So please make sure that you're really focused as I go through this worksheet with you. So on page 63, it says fill in the blanks to show adding on to subtract, okay? So we're actually adding on to figure out subtraction problems. So if you look in number 1, the problem they're giving us is 100 minus 75. So I'm going to draw like a little visual here to show you. So if we had a number line, I'm going to draw my number line down here. Okay, we would start at 75 and the goal is to get to 100. Okay, this is counting on to subtract. So they start us off here with 75 plus 5. 75 plus 5 brings us to 80. Okay, now how do we get from 80 all the way to 100? I always think of how do you go from 8 to 10? Well, 8, 9, 10, 2. But 80 plus 20 would bring us to 100, okay? So we're going to put here 75 plus 5, we know, gives us 80. Then if you add 80 plus 20, that would bring you to 100. So 100 minus 75 gives us a difference of 25. And we get 25 by adding our humps, 20 plus 5. It took 25 to count on from 75 to get to 100. Okay, I hope that makes sense. This is just one of the many strategies that you have been taught in order to help you solve subtraction problems. If this is not a way you prefer, we're just going to go through it together and then you don't have to pick this strategy on your test. But if you like this way, feel free to use it. So question number 2, our problem is 132 minus 114. So once again, I'm going to cross this out because we already used that. I'm going to draw another number line. Okay? So we are going to start at 114 and we want to get to 132. So we're going to count on from 114 and see how many it takes to get from 114 to 132. So in problem 2, they're starting out by adding 6. So what is 114 plus 6? 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120. So that would bring us to 120, okay? So then we want to think about how do we get to our next 10? What is our next 10 after 120? Think of what comes after 20 counting by tens. 10, 20, 30. Or 110, 120, 130 is our next 10. How do you go from 120 to 130? Think of 20 plus what number gives you 30? 10. Okay, so 120 plus 10 gives us 130. And then our last step is how to get to 130 to 132. How many would you add to get from 130 to 132? 131, 132. You would add 2 more. So we're going to add 2. Okay, now we're going to count our humps. 10 plus 6 is 16. Then 16 plus 2, 17, 18. So 132 minus 114 is 18. Okay, that's how you would count on. Let's look at problem 3. The problem they give us is 201 minus 162. I'm going to go up here and draw this up here. I have a little more room up here. Okay, so our number line will start at 162. And we want to get to 201, so we're counting on. Okay, And if you look at problem 3, they're having us start with adding 8. So 162 plus 8. What number does that bring us to? 163, 164, 165, 166, 167, 168, 169, 170. So 162 plus 8 brings us to 170. Okay? Then let's go to our next 100. What is the next 100 that comes after 170? Think about 100, 200. Okay? How do we get from 170 to 200? Or think about, how do you get from 70 to 100? Or 7 plus what number gives you 10? It would be 30. So 170 plus 30 brings us to 200. Then how do you get from 200 to 201? That's easy. 1. So we're going to add up our humps, 8 plus 30 plus 1. And what does that bring us to? Well, we know 30 plus 8. Let me draw my touch math for 8. 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. So 38 plus 1, 39. So the difference to our answer, 201 minus 162, is 39. Okay. So it's really important when you're adding on to figure out subtraction problems that you use a number line. So let's look at number 4. It says 501 minus 470. It says explain how you can start with 470 and add on to solve. I'm going to first draw my number line. So we are starting at 470 and we want to get to 501. Well, here's how we can think of it. So what is the next 100 after 470? Think about it. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. So let's draw our hump all the way to 500. How do we get from 470 to 500? Or think about 70 plus what number equals 100, or 7 plus what number equals 10? It would take 30. 470 plus 30 would give us 500. Then how do you get from 500 to 501? You would add 1. Add up our humps. 30 plus 1 equals 31. So we know the difference to 501 minus 470 is 31. So our explanation could be, we started out by adding 470 plus 30 equals 500. That's how we're counting on. And 500 plus 1 equals 501. Okay? And then add 30 plus 1, and that equals 31. So 501 minus 470 equals 31. Okay? Alrighty, I hope that helped. I really think that's a very hard strategy, so I'm glad that I was able to help you today. And then my next video will be showing you how to walk you through page 64. Bye.